You're listening to Walktown Radio. Joan Hamill and Friends is coming up next, and it starts right now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Walktown Radio. I'm Joan Hamill, and today we're going to be talking with Toby Smithson about New Year's resolutions and some healthful, entertaining recipes. So welcome, Toby.
Happy New Year, Joan.
Happy New Year. And it is that time of year. It's a lot of folks make New Year's resolutions. We've had a lot of cookies over the holidays and other favorite goodies. And so a lot of folks this time of year are looking to shed a few pounds.
The American Dietetic Association just recently came out with the results of a survey that they just did, and you wouldn't believe that 65% of women are looking at dieting or plan to start a diet in the new year.
Wow. And before we get too far down the road, tell folks a little bit about who you are and how you came across this knowledge.
Sure. I'm the community dietitian for the Lake County Health Department. I'm also a spokesperson for the Illinois Dietetic Association as well. And I work at the health department in the community, and radio is a real good access for me to get the information out to the community. So it's a perfect match.
It is a great match. And so let's talk about a little bit about an overview of the research.
Yeah, I wanted to give information since this is the time of year that everybody's thinking about dieting if they haven't started already. And so I wanted to come on air and tell you about some new research that's very, very exciting. Because usually when dietitians are talking before an audience, people are rolling their eyes and saying, what's she going to tell us I can't have? But not the case this time.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, some very interesting research on dairy foods. And if you look back at the studies, the statistics on people, usually when they're dieting, they try to avoid milk, yogurt, cheese. They take that out of their diet. But what this research, I have a list of many researches that have come out proving the opposite. And bottom line is to add 3 to 4 servings of dairy products a day to help lose and maintain weight.
Wow.
So we're going to get into it a little bit more throughout the show today, but very, very cool information.
Well, and there have been so many arguments. You hear folks talking about the South Beach diet and the Atkins diet. And do you have any comments that you want to make about any of those?
Sure. Those we call fad diets. And
not fat diets,
no,
fad.
Fad with a D. And what's a definition of a fad diet? If you think about those diets that you mentioned, they fall under one of these definitions, if not all of them. A fad diet is something that touts or bans a specific food or food group. And some of those diets you mentioned, they tell you stay away from such and such food or food group. Another thing that they do is they promise incredible results. And a lot of times you see this in the magazines. You'll see the pictures of, these astounding, lost 100 pounds. So that's another thing that will tell you if it's a fad diet. Another item would be that if they blame a specific nutrient, like carbohydrates, proteins, or fats, or specific foods that will cause you weight problems. Another thing is if they say that it promotes food combining. There's some of those diets out there that say you have to eat such and such food with another food in order to get the result of weight loss. There is no truth behind that.
Okay.
And then another one that relies on testimonials and anecdotal support. And a lot of times...
So like the magazines. You see a lot of things in magazines. They show the person who was this size and now they're this size and... I did it all eating cheeseburgers and chocolate,
Right, the before and after pictures. Yeah. Right. So those are some ways that you can identify if it's a fad diet. And usually those are diets that you can't follow forever. It's not a healthy way of eating. It's just a quick fix. The ways that we do recommend on losing weight is that you don't restrict your calories less than 1,200 calories per day. That's one thing. Another thing is that to include foods from all the major food groups, including especially the dairy foods, because we're going to talk a little bit more about that, 3 to 4 servings of the milk, yogurt, and cheese products a day. And also a diet that doesn't forbid any food. The American Dietetic Association believes that all foods can fit. So there aren't any foods that you need to avoid.
Now, how do you feel about people who say, well, I'm going to do this fad diet for X amount of time until I lose a certain amount of weight, and then I will go and eat more healthfully, or I'll, go back to what I was doing before?